Hello newly hatched adults. I hope you're having a great day and welcome to this video about just dealing with adulthood and dealing with the little things that happen over and over again to you as an adult, but really no one ever tells you how to deal with them. And in this video, what we're going to be dealing with is one of the things that really gets on your nerves as an adult. It happens sometimes once a year, sometimes more often, but you come out to your car and it has a flat tire. So let's deal with this one. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we're in a safe environment. Luckily for me, this happened when we were at home and we came out in the morning and just saw the tire. But maybe you're coming home from work, maybe you're out parked on the side of the street, you come back to your car and you realise that it has a flat tire there. If it is a dangerous situation, you do not deal with this yourself, you phone and you get help. I do not want you working on a car on the side of the road where you're putting yourself at risk. For me today, I don't feel like there's much risk here in my own garage, so I'm going to do this myself. Locate our spare tyre and the equipment. Your spare will either be in the boot or underneath the car. Either way, you'll go to the boot to find the things you need. Have a look. Now, from buying this car new, I checked the manual, so I knew a few things about it. I knew where the equipment was located, and I also knew that I had a full-size spare. Sometimes you can end up with a space saver. A space saver is one of those smaller tyres, and with those you are limited to the speed you can do, and also where you can locate that on your car. A space saver should only ever be used on the rear. That means if you do have a puncture on the front tyre, you would change a good rear tyre onto the front and put the space saver on the rear. Next thing we're going to do is take out the equipment and have a look at what we've got. Now, your equipment may look slightly different, but there are some basic pieces of equipment that are in most cars. So first thing you'll have obviously is a jack. Yours may be much bigger than this depending on the size of the car, but a nice way of lifting the car safely. You'll also have a key which helps you turn the jack, so turning this up and down. You'll also have a wrench for undoing the bolts or the nuts. This little piece also has a section in it because you can use this to help you with your winding, and I'll show you that later on. So some of these are quite ingenious. Also with this vehicle, because it has alloy wheels that are a specific shape, there's also an extension, what's known as a lock nut key, because these nuts here are lock nuts, so they're a little bit safer. People can't steal the alloys, so you do have to have this special key to take them off. You may or may not have a different key. Your vehicle's manual will tell you all about that. A lot of people make the mistake of immediately getting the jack and raising the vehicle. However, these nuts are on very, very tight. If you start jumping and swinging on those tighter nuts while the vehicle's jacked up, that's going to cause you a problem because it will tip and you're at risk of serious injury. So we loosen the nuts first while the vehicle is down fully on the ground on all four wheels. It's a case of putting the nuts covered by the wrench and of course righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, so we'd be pushing this way downwards. It's much easier to go on the down first than trying to come up and over the top. Okay, so I've just loosened the nuts, staying on the left-hand side so I could push downwards. They've been loosened, not too much, but enough so I know they'll come off easily when the car's raised. The next thing I need to do is position the jack. Now, your manual will show you exactly where this should happen. For this vehicle, along the underneath of the chassis, there's a section with small notches that have been cut out, and my manual tells me that that's where I need to place my jack. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to raise the car safely, never too high, just enough to give me access to the wheel. Now, your jack is an essential piece of kit, and it will of course be holding the weight of your vehicle, so it's very, very important you understand how your jack works. Check your manual, and probably a good idea to have a go away from your vehicle first, just to make sure you're confident. So I have this one away from the vehicle. We can see it's very easy to wind that up and down. So we would, if we were at our vehicle, slide this underneath, having checked with the manual exactly where it's supposed to go on the chassis for that particular wheel. We could slide that under, we could raise it until it was pushing against the vehicle. We would check the positioning on the ground, Once we were confident this could be raised safely, in this case we would then add our extra section. We would add in our wrench, and I think earlier in the video I actually had this on the wrong way. But as you can see now, that's given me much more leverage, and I can raise the vehicle confidently. If at any stage I'm unsure, I could of course back the jack off, check, reposition, raise the jack again. So of course be confident at every stage here. It is important that this is secure because your safety is paramount. So now we've jacked the vehicle up just enough so that the wheel is accessible, never too much. When I was jacking it up, of course what I was doing was checking to make sure that the jack was not moving side to side. If that happens, lower the car back down, reposition the jack. Make sure you're on a very safe surface, make sure that surface is level, and as you raise the car, do that very carefully, constantly checking on the jack. Now we're here, and my nuts are already loosened, we can take the nuts out and remove the wheel. So let's do that. You can see these are already very loose, and we can spin them out enough so that then I can just use the key in this case. And I can spin that completely out. Let's keep them going with the key for speed. There's one. Two. Three. Four. And this will be the fifth. Now your vehicle may have 6, it may have 4. Doesn't really matter, as long as they all come out. Now the wheel, you'll see it immediately starts to move loose, so be very careful it doesn't drop out and fall on you. We can take that away. I do like to put the wheel somewhere safe, not too close. I do not want to be being tripped up. I just want to take a second here to share with you something that I see happen quite often, and one of the stupidest things you can actually do at this stage. Many, many times I've been in situations like this with people, and what I've seen them do is as they get the new tyre, they sit down underneath the car here with their legs under the vehicle. You never ever put any part of your body underneath the vehicle at any time, but particularly when it's in this relatively unsafe, unstable position. Please keep yourself safe. Do not sit with your legs or any part of your body underneath the vehicle. So the next thing we do now is bring our spare into position. And we'll wheel our spare in and we'll look through the holes and line them up. Now of course these spares are not light. You may need to get a little bit physical with the spare, but whatever you do, do not lean, do not push on the vehicle. Keep yourself as safe as possible and use minimum force so you keep yourself well out of any danger. So let's see if we can get this spare on. I look through, I bring it close. Sometimes you may realise you need to lift the vehicle a little bit more. If that's the case, put the spare away nice and safely, raise the vehicle, bring this back. It looks as if it's okay here for me, it's just a case of lifting the wheel. And there we have it. And now we can start to put the nuts back through. We'll put them on very loosely. You may notice here the pattern that I'm putting the nuts on. This is just habit for me, but you do, when you tighten the nuts, put them on opposites. You tighten nuts on opposites. You never go around in a circle when tightening nuts on. Sometimes you may want to just jiggle the wheel slightly as you tighten these on, but very, very lightly. Don't shake the car. Never put your fingers underneath the bottom. You'd only work with the sides. Little jiggle. And now we'll tighten them a little bit more, but not too much, whilst the vehicle's in this position. hardly any extra pressure. So again, the pattern here isn't hugely important because there's no real pressure going on the wheel. But this allows the wheel to seat correctly. There we go. So these will be tight enough that when I lower the car, they will hold the wheel in the correct position, but not too tight that I'm risking the car falling whilst it's on the jack. Okay, so now I'm confident the tyre is held securely. I'm going to lower the car to the ground. Go. So now the car's safely back on the ground, I can tighten the nuts using that pattern, almost like a star-shaped pattern, never going around in a circle. And of course, I could do it this way and try and pull this upwards, or I could make my life a lot easier, bring that over, and use gravity and my body weight to push them down. So be sensible when you're doing this. Make sure you use your body to benefit you in the tightening of these nuts. So we'll start. We won't over-tighten one on its own. We'll always come back to them. And we'd be back to the first one. And now third time around, I'm going to bring myself over this way so I can really get a bit of leverage. I'm not going to tighten these too much or you can damage the threads, but I'm going to tighten them enough that I know this is safe. And there we go. And you can go and check again, which I probably will do off the video, because I get quite paranoid about safety. Now, of course, I would then take my damaged tyre, put that in the boot. My immediate first journey would be to sort this out. I don't want this car to have this spare tyre on for any longer than necessary. So I'll be limiting my journeys. Also, I may ask when I get to the tyre repair place if they can just check the nuts on this spare tyre, because I tighten them myself and I would like a second opinion. Thanks for watching. Just a quick side point to what we're looking at here with changing a tyre. When you look in your vehicle's recovery sections with your jack and along with the other things such as the wrench, you may see something like this. These are becoming more common now. This has nothing to do with changing the tyres. This is to do with towing your vehicle. So if you do see this, don't worry about it for now, but if you ever do need to have your vehicle towed, this might be something that you need to find. What you would do, and of course your manual will tell you this, is for a lot of vehicles now, at the front or rear of the vehicle, you'll have a section, hopefully you can see this one here, where you can actually pop part of the bumper out. That will then give you somewhere to screw this in. This then obviously would stick out of the front of the car and it would give you then that towing point. A lot of vehicles now don't have a towing point welded to the major section of chassis. They have these kind of things so there's nothing sticking out at the front. So if you see that and you wonder what it is, that's your towing point. Your manual will tell you more about that.